Now, what could you possibly hate about Hawaii? Well, in this video, I'm gonna give you my top 5 things that I hate about this island. Stick around to get all the details. See you on the other side. Okay guys, like I mentioned, we're gonna go over 5 things that I hate about living out here in Hawaii. Now, it was hard to make this list because, to be quite honest with you, I love this island to my core and I will never leave. I've been living here for almost 10 years and I really don't have any plans of ever leaving. I just love so much about it. But I did come up with a list of 5 things that may bother you, bother me every once in a while. So let's get into that list. But before we do, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Patrick Longley. I am a licensed real estate agent out here in Hawaii. And like I said, I've been living here for about a decade and absolutely love it. If you guys are moving to Hawaii and want some boots on the ground or have any questions, got my contact information right here, or you can connect with me on any of my social media platforms. So feel free to give me a follow or direct DM. Anyways, with that being said, let's jump into the 5 things that I hate about Hawaii. Number 1, the home prices. Now, you've probably seen out in some articles that Hawaii is one of the most expensive cities in the nation, and they would not be wrong with that. Home prices have gone up over 27% in just this last year, but the whole market has gone crazy across the nation, but especially out here in Hawaii. Now, on average, if you're looking to purchase a single family home out here, you're looking just over about $1 million. And if you're looking to purchase a condo, you're looking at about $510,000. Now it's the median. You can find things for lower and definitely find things for higher, but generally speaking, it's about $1 million if you want to live out here in Hawaii for a single family home. So it ain't cheap. So that would probably be my number 1 thing that I hate about living in Hawaii, is how expensive the housing is. One little side note, and it is a shameless plug, I'm a real estate agent, but if you are looking to invest in Hawaii and want to purchase a home, by all means, guys, feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to assist you with the process. And keep in mind that 27% appreciation, if you owned a home, you're sitting real pretty right now. If you bought a house for $1 million, you just made 270 grand in 1 year. So when it comes to storing your cash and actually purchasing a property and living in it, it's a great investment, but it's just difficult to get in because the prices are so high and we're continuing to see it go up, up, and up. So it's hard to say when we're actually gonna see it start to slow down. I've got some videos going over that, so make sure you check that out. But nonetheless, feel free to reach out to me if you are interested in purchasing a house out here in Hawaii. Number 2, tourist. Now, I'm sorry when I say this, and I hope no one gets offended. I have nothing against tourists. I'm just kind of naming things that I don't like or hate when it comes to tourism and what it brings to this island. Just a few things is we obviously get a lot of traffic, whether it's the local community, but when you bring it on top with tourism, we get a lot more traffic in Waikiki, in town, to and from the west side. There's just a lot more traffic. Here in Kailua, there's lots of people who come to Kailua to enjoy the beautiful beaches, rightfully so. But there comes a lot of traffic with that, and that sometimes can be a barrier for us locals who just want to get to and from work or just go to the market when you have all this traffic. It's long with parking. The parking situation out here in Kailua, specifically in Lanikai where I live, can be horrendous. And lastly, when it comes to tourism, I'm not putting everybody in the same bucket, but there are certain people that come to the island and just have this take mentality. They come here, they're on vacation, they feel like everybody should just give them the world and they just want to take things and not give anything back. I'm again not saying that that's everybody, but that does put a bad taste in people's mouths, especially out here who live here, have their families here and work here. So just keep in mind, if you are a tourist and you are coming here, it's really important that you're respectful of the local community and the local people and try to give back whenever you have the opportunity and realize that you are visiting here. Number 3, cost of living. So like I mentioned, houses are really expensive, but it doesn't end there. Everything out here in Hawaii is expensive. You want to buy groceries, everything's going to be a little bit more expensive because they have to ship everything from the mainland over to here in Hawaii. Electricity is some of the highest in the nation. I just made a video going over the cost of living. I think it's somewhere between 27 and 36 cents per kilowatt, which is 3 times the national average. And of course, rent is expensive as well. Depending on how you're comparing it, it's probably comparable to San Francisco or New York, but those are some of the most expensive places too. So everything is just pretty pricey when it comes to living out here in Hawaii. If you want to learn more about that, make sure you check out my video going over the cost of living in Hawaii in 2022. Number 3 is traffic. So like I mentioned before, sometimes the tourism brings a lot of the traffic, especially in the Waikiki areas, but more specifically what I'm talking about is the traffic from Honolulu to the west side and to the west side to Honolulu. Now I'm fortunate enough where I live on the windward side, so I don't have to beat myself through that traffic too much, but every once in a while when I have to go show some properties or if I need to go to that area to meet with a client, if you go during the rush hour times, it can literally double the amount of time coming from town to the west side and west side to town. Again, check out some of my other videos where I go over some of the pros and cons of living in Hawaii, where I kind of discuss the time frames, but just keep in mind that it can literally double the amount of time to travel if you go during those rush hour times. Now, the fourth thing that I hate about Hawaii is that it's far away from the mainland. If I want to go visit my family in California, it's about 6 hours to get there. And fortunately, the tickets aren't too expensive right now. I think one way I can literally find a ticket anywhere between 150 and 250 bucks, which ain't bad. But I'm assuming most of your family probably lives on the mainland. So just keep in mind, it's a little bit more detailed, a little bit more expensive, and takes some time to get there. And the fifth and final thing that I hate about Hawaii is things don't get done quickly. And what do I mean by that? I mean, there's a couple different situations where you just won't get things done quickly. Number one, if you want to get permits for your house because you're doing some renovations, you're looking 6 to 12 months just to get a simple permit. Why? Because they just don't have their things together at the DPP or Department of Planning and Permitting. Their paperwork is literally organized in filing cabinets. They don't have a system, and it just moves really slow. So that means everything when it comes to building moves really slow. Logistics, you want to ship something here, you want to get stuff from IKEA, you need to get certain materials, you want to get appliances, you want to buy appliances, it's going to take you 6 to 12 weeks to get appliances out here because things move fast and then it takes time for them to ship here. They're very backlogged. Things just move slow. You got contractors. Maybe they won't show up today because the surf's good. You call a business. Maybe they don't pick up because they just are busy and they don't want to pick up and they're just not really that hungry for work. And that is fine if you can adjust to the speed of things. But for me and someone who likes to get things done, it can be somewhat frustrating sometimes. But if you can make a little bit of an adjustment, and if you're someone who likes to get business done and you're someone who actually gets it done, you definitely speak outside of the crowd because a lot of people just kind of cruise, which is fine. I love it for my business. People love it that I actually pick up my phone and I get things done. But just something to keep in mind. All right, guys, well, that pretty much wraps up the 5 things that I hate about living out here in Hawaii. And again, I say that with a grain of salt because it was really hard for me to come up with this list. And a lot of those things I say on my list aren't that big of a deal. Again, if you guys are looking to move out to Hawaii and want some boots on the ground, have any questions, I'm happy to help you. I've got my contact information right here. So feel free to give me a call, text, or email, or you can directly DM me on any of my social media platforms. And make sure to give me a follow. If you guys got any value out of this video, if you guys could do me a huge favor, smash that like button as well as click the subscribe and notification bell so you get notified whenever I drop videos like this. And that pretty much wraps it up. Again, guys, I'm Patrick with PatrickLongleyRealty.com, powered by eXp Realty. Hope you guys have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Aloha.